So welcome back for the third part of this episode, and I would like to finalize by discussing with you this other side of the clinical trials. And this other side of the clinical trials involves the administrative burden that is associated with conducting clinical trials. We know that the number of documents and all the administrative tasks that are necessary for us to conduct clinical trials is increasing more and more. And there is a lot of discussion around how we can reduce the bureaucracy associated with clinical trials without implicating the safety of our patients, but also without implicating the integrity of the clinical trial. Some publications are out there. One of the publications is one that I'm a co-author, and we looked into how we can streamline the clinical trials. One of the publications is one where I'm a co-author, and in this publication we looked at how we could streamline the clinical research by producing still very high quality data with data integrity and without having any disadvantage for the patients in terms of safety. We provide a significant amount of recommendations that we could use to reduce the administrative burden in clinical trials. And I will leave you with 4 of them that I think are the most important ones and summarize the potential actions that we can have in reducing this bureaucracy. One is using a simplified delegation law. The second one is to use only to look into only the aspects that are considered in the GCP rules. The third is to use simplified document templates. And the last one is to reduce the number of platforms that we need to use in the different clinical trials, each one with a different login and a different password. This is possible to be done, and we understood this probably during the pandemics, because we understood also that during the pandemics we could not conduct clinical trials the way that we used to conduct it before. And there are some investigations and some publications that looked into exactly these aspects. And the fact is that the integrity of the data that was gathered during the pandemic and the safety of the patients was not decreased and was not influenced by reducing the number of these bureaucratic aspects that were traditionally associated with conducting clinical trials. So I'll leave you with a couple of take-home messages. I think and I hope that after this 3-episode series, I was able to convince you that it is possible to conduct simpler and more relevant and pragmatical trials pretty much in all settings that we are conducting clinical research. I think these trials conducted like this can have an impact in many patients and different settings. They need obviously to be inclusive, and they need to represent the population for which we want to provide this therapy. But of course, this definition of inclusion and representativeness is different when we are looking into phase 1 trials, or when we are looking into a specific or a very rare population or a very rare entity, and when we are looking into phase 3 and phase 4. So this also needs to be somehow fluid. I think and I hope that I was able to convince you that it is possible to streamline clinical research by reducing the bureaucracy burden associated with conducting clinical trials. And I would like to leave you with a final message on the fact that actually you are also responsible, also have a role in this, in all of this of conducting clinical trials. So I hope that you raise your voice and you say it out loud when things are not exactly the way that you expected. Thank you.